I'm not doing good. No! No! Hot! Ramen? Ramens? What's the plural of ramen? Am I dumb? Itadakimasu. Ah! There are no napkins again! Konnichiwa minasan! Welcome back to my channel. I'm Reina Scully coming to you from Japan, where you can enjoy the best ramen in the world. I'm sure a lot of you know this about me already, but ramen is like my #1 favorite food of all time. I'm certain a lot of you feel the same way. Let me know in the comments what your favorite type of ramen is. Is it miso based, shoyu or soy sauce flavored, or tonkotsu as in pork bone broth? Sidebar, don't pronounce it tonkatsu. Tonkatsu is a deep fried pork cutlet. I know the difference is really subtle, but if tonkotsu happens to be your favorite ramen, you should probably learn how to say it right. Anyway, today I wanted to share what kind of ramen you can get from 7-Eleven here in Japan, because there are several different types and they're all pretty good. Obviously, getting ramen from a restaurant or a ramen shop is best, but in a pinch, these 7-Eleven ramen really hit the spot, so I grabbed 5 different types today to show you. So this is the selection that is available right now, and let's see, this one is a chicken broth and salt-based wonton ramen. This is a mini shoyu and tonkotsu ramen. Here is another mini one. This is mini hiyashichuka, as in cold ramen noodles. This one is a spicy tantan men. And we also have this one, which isn't around very often, but this is the Ippudo akamaru tonkotsu ramen. So it's literally Ippudo ramen. Let's start with the chicken and salt wonton ramen. I wish I could show you a little better, but I'm afraid that if I tip it anymore, the broth is gonna slip out and make a huge mess. It looks like this. Can you see? I really don't want it to spill. Okay, so you have to microwave this, and it tells you exactly at what wattage for how long to microwave it. 500 watts for 5.5 minutes, or 1500 watts for 1 minute and 50 seconds. And also, this ramen is only 396 calories. How is that possible? Is that real? Also, I should note that 7-Eleven ramen is cheaper than, obviously, restaurant ramen. This one is only 480 yen. And it's pretty hefty. All right, I'm gonna go heat this up. I'll be right back. So here it is, fresh out of the microwave, and the top ramen part is separated from the broth underneath. Oh my God, I'm scared. Okay, ta-da! So you wanna just slip this in. Oh my God, I'm not doing a good job. I'm not doing good, no! No! Okay, well, I did it! And you want to loosen up the noodles a little bit so that it gets all up in there. Yes. Good job, me. So here it is. It smells amazing. The wontons are so puri-puri, as in juicy. You get a piece of chashu. You get bamboo shoots, scallions, and the soup. It smells so, so good. Okay, itadakimasu. Hot. Oh, it's so good. All right, I'm not gonna lie. This ramen is so much better than a lot of ramen shops in the US. I would much rather just get this. So this is a really gentle, soothing type of ramen. It's perfectly salty and yummy, but because it's chicken and salt broth based, it's not as heavy as something like tonkotsu or miso. And the noodles are the perfect squishiness, the perfect firmness, the perfect bounce, perfect chew. All right, let's try the wonton. Oishi! How's the chashu? Delicious. The chashu is a little less flavored, I think on purpose, so that it blends in with the gentle flavor of the chicken broth and salt. So good. I want to keep eating this because it's so good, but I have 5 other ramen to go. Ramen? Ramens? What's the plural of ramen? There's no S, right? It's ramen, like fish or deer. I don't know. Am I dumb? No, oh my god, I was gonna eat it again. Okay, next let's try the spicy tantan ramen. So tantan is usually made with a miso soup broth, and it normally comes with sauteed minced meat that is, I think, like marinated in miso and some spices and some other different things that's topped on top of the ramen. And let's see, it describes it in English as Chinese sesame ramen with pork, chili pepper, and chili oil. Which, I mean, yeah, that is it. I guess it is true. When I hear tantan, I do think like Chinese-inspired ramen. Let's see if I can do it again. Oh God. Oh no, it's all in it. Okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Yes! Beautiful. Ooh, it's so steamy. All right, here we are, the spicy tantan, which by the way is a lot spicier looking now that it's in the broth. There's so much red chili oil. I don't know if you can see very well. Okay, here we go. Itadakimasu. Ah! Itadakimasu. Oh my god. It's so freaking good and spicy. It's actually really spicy. I love spicy food, so this is pretty perfect for me. But if you're sensitive to spicy, I would not get this. Wow, this is very, very good. This tantan has so many complex flavors. You can taste all the pickled Chinese vegetables that's in the sauteed minced meat, and it's like mixing really, really well with the super spicy broth. You have some bok choy, which is great. And you can't really tell anymore because it's all mixed in together, but the bean sprouts, I think, were slightly pickled because I can taste it when I eat it with the ramen. It's also slightly sweet, which is really bringing out the deep miso flavor. I don't know which one's better. I was initially so blown away by the salt ramen, the salt and chicken ramen, but this is special. And I really, really like all of the complex flavors that are in this. It's like a fancy special ramen. Oh, okay, I got some on my clothes and it's 100% gonna stain because it's chili oil. It is very oily though. Heavy, heavy ramen. 11 out of 10, I'm not gonna lie, it blew me away. Okay, I can't stop eating this one either. I'm a mess. There are no napkins again. Next, let's try this, which is their mini hiyashi chuka, or mini cold ramen. So to be totally honest, I don't know if I would consider hiyashi chuka or cold ramen to really be ramen, but I mean, that's just me. It is ramen, right? Because the whole point is that it uses the chewy, firm ramen noodles. Okay, let's open it up. The best thing about this is that you don't have to microwave it. Actually, I lied. The best part about this ramen is the fact that hiyashi chuka always comes with a bunch of toppings and a lot of different vegetables, so it's like slightly healthy. All right, what does it say in English? Cold noodles with egg, tomato, pork, ham, cucumber, seaweed, sesame, and ginger. That's like really just an ingredients list, but yeah, that is what it is. Doing this in the air is a little bit scary. Okay. Very pretty. I do always like how colorful it is. And again, you get to eat a variety of different things, so that's always nice. So just like with all the other ramen, the toppings come separate. And you're gonna dump all of this on top after you mix the sauce in here. Let me show you what that is. It comes with some Japanese mustard, and this is the soup. All right, we're just gonna dump this in. I was already a mess today, and I'm afraid I'm gonna make an even bigger mess. Oh, I did not. This will help separate the noodles a bit. So I got the mini version. There's actually a regular full portion size of this, but I knew I was gonna be eating a buttload of other ramen, so I opted for the mini one. All right, let's loosen up the noodles a bit before we add the toppings. I do really like how refreshing hiyashichuka broth is. It's very vinegary, and I like sour. I like vinegar. So, okay, now let's place our toppings. They're all like in their little compartments, so I can't slide it in the way I've been doing with the other ramen. I guess I'll just place them nicely, one by one. Pork ham, eggs, seaweed, cucumbers, tomato, tamago, or egg. I don't know why that was in Japanese. And some benishoga, or pickled ginger. Ta-da! So I know I like placed it one by one and it's all pretty right now, but you are supposed to mix it aggressively all together. All right, let's get some cucumbers in there and some egg and some noodles. Itadakimasu! Oishii ne. The sweet vinegar soy sauce is so refreshing, and it obviously goes really, really well with all the toppings. That's why these specific toppings are used for hiyashichuka. I think it can use some sesame seeds though. I'm surprised there weren't sesame seeds in this. Got some in my eye and it's vinegary. It's cool. I'm fine. Am I? So again, as delicious as this is, I wouldn't categorically call this ramen. It's just not the same flavor profile as what I think ramen is in my heart. But the noodles are indeed ramen noodles, and again, it's very, very tasty. This is really the perfect summer dish. Like, it cools you off, you get your ramen fix, get some vegetables in there, and again, it's nice and vinegary. So good! In Japanese, the best way to describe a dish like this that's refreshing would be sappari. Sappari shita aji. I have to stop eating. I have 2 other ramen to review. It's really hard to stop eating ramen once you've started. Like, you kind of just want to keep slurping. This was like an 8 out of 10. It's good. It's really good. But again, not really ramen, right? All right, here we go. This is a special one. It is their Ippudo ramen, available at 7-Eleven right now. It's literally Ippudo, like you could tell from the noodles. I'll show you in a second, but they have really, really thin Hakata style noodles. Ippudo is pork bone broth ramen, and it's really, really popular in Japan. There are a whole bunch of different Ippudo ramen restaurants. I think the hype has died down a little bit, but a couple years ago, it was like the biggest thing in ramen. I think it also caters to a lot of foreigners. There's also an Ippudo in Narita Airport that's always, always super popular, and there's always a line. So this is the Akamaru tonkotsu ramen from Ippudo via 7-Eleven. As you can see, the noodles are very, very different. And this is the little Akamaru spicy dollop that's on there. Okay. Oh, the soup is so milky and pork bone brothy. Wow. Here we are, the Ippudo ramen. Oh my god, it looks so good. And as you can see, and like I said before, it's really, really actually the Ippudo style ramen noodles, the very thin noodles. So Hakata ramen, or like pork bone broth ramen that's milky white like this, specifically uses these types of thin noodles because you're supposed to be able to get more of the broth in between the noodles that way, so you're like slurping it all together. All right, itadakimasu. Oh my god. It even has the black garlic oil in it. That's what this like gray stuff is right over here. Wow, this is really good. It really does taste exactly like Ippudo ramen. Obviously, the flavor is slightly better in the actual restaurant, in the actual Ippudo restaurant, but this is a perfectly fine alternative if there's no Ippudo near you. It's not spicy at all though. Like, I can't taste any of the Akamaru like sauce dollop thing that there was before, but it doesn't matter. It's so good. Ippudo da! And their chashu is very, very different from the other 7-Eleven ramen chashu. It's so much fattier and softer. I keep getting food all over my face. I must say, much like the tantan ramen, this is very, very heavy. You have to be pretty hungry to be eating this whole thing. There is a lot in here, like a lot. So kind of adding to the fact that it's a really heavy type of ramen, despite the fact that the noodles are thin, so I know that's like a little bit misleading. It's a lot. Like the black garlic flavor is very potent. It's very delicious and it goes really well with it, but you'd have to really be in the mood for this ramen, for this Ippudo ramen. Still ridiculously impressive that they can make this for convenience stores, konbini, like 7-Eleven. 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. And last but not least, their mini Shoyu tonkotsu ramen. Their miniature Shoyu pork bone broth ramen. So this is something that's available all the time. I get this one quite often. I usually get this and a salad, or this and some sandwiches, or this and a rice ball. So my favorite ramen broth is usually shoyu tonkotsu, as in a blended version of soy sauce and tonkotsu, which is exactly what this is. I know exactly what this is gonna taste like, but I gotta show you. So as you can see, unlike the other full-size ramen, this mini one already comes with everything mixed inside perfectly, so all you have to do is heat it up as is, and you don't have to like construct anything. So gorgeous. Here she is, my favorite mini shoyu tonkotsu, all hot and steamy, ready to go. I especially like it because it's such a classic ramen with all the typical toppings. Itadakimasu. This is too big of a bite. Itadakimasu. This one is, in my opinion, the perfect blend of soy sauce broth and pork bone broth. I sometimes find that tonkotsu only broth is really overwhelming and oftentimes too rich. It's usually very, very fatty and creamy, and kind of like the Ippudo one, the flavor gets very repetitive because it's so thick and strong. That is called, like, you describe it as shitsugoi in Japanese, as in repetitive and therefore just kind of slightly too much. Like it's sometimes a little too porky, a little too fatty, which is why I much prefer the blend of the shoyu broth and the tonkotsu broth, which again, I just think is so perfect. So the one tiny negative thing about this mini shoyu tonkotsu ramen is the fact that the noodles are already in the broth and it sits in there for a while. So the noodles soak up a lot of the broth and it makes it a lot softer and chewier. And I personally prefer really, really firm noodles. So yeah, that's the only thing. The other ramen have much firmer noodles. I prefer that. But yeah, still so delicious. You can't beat the broth flavor. I would say I get you all the time. Oh my God, you're so good. But I don't know. I'd say 9 out of 10. Oh my God, I ate so much ramen in like so many different flavors. So I'm actually surprised, but out of all the ramen I had today, I think I like the tantan spicy ramen the most. It just blew me away. I was not expecting those flavors to blend so nicely together. And again, I really like spicy, so that kind of put it over the top for me. But in terms of ramen being comfort food, I would say that the wonton salt chicken ramen and the tonkotsu shoyu ramen are the best. It's so classic and so tasty. Now, before I wrap up, I'd like to thank Imi for sponsoring today's video. Imi is the world's first low-carb, high-protein, fully plant-based instant ramen. It is delicious, convenient, easily customizable while being 100% plant-based and dairy-free. I like to top mine with some bamboo shoots and an aji tamago or flavored egg. You'll get the same bouncy, familiar noodle texture while reaping the benefits of a steamy, healthy bowl of ramen made with high-quality ingredients. What I'm drawn to most is the fact that it's significantly lower in sodium, which has always been a huge pitfall of ramen in general. It has 18 grams of fiber along with 3 times more protein than your traditional instant ramen brands. Their variety pack has 3 different vibrant flavors: spicy beef ramen, tom yum shrimp ramen, and black garlic chicken ramen. If you're a ramen lover, I highly recommend giving Immi a try. Click the link in my description below and use my coupon code Scully to get $5 off at checkout. That's immieats.com/ReinaScully. And that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. What did you think of all these 7-Eleven ramen? Have you had any before? Did any of them look particularly delicious to you? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you again to Immi for sponsoring this video, and thank you again for watching, and I will see you in my next video. そんじゃまたね!